is Spoonie for RGT, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Ouya. Now, I was a backer for the Ouya, and it arrived last week. Well, I can't remember what time. Sometime last week. And I was going to do an unboxing, but there are just loads of them about recently. And plus being ill, I thought I'd just skip that part and have a little mess around with it and give you my thoughts on it. And my first thoughts, pretty much like a lot of people that I've seen, are actually, why did I back this and why did I waste my money? Now, I could have done the minimum pledge, which with postage on top outside of the US would have cost me $119, and that would have been it. You know, standard Ouya 1 controller. But no, I went for the 225 plus backing because I wanted a limited edition Ouya, 2 controllers, and have them etched with Spoonie's pad and co-op buddy on the other one. And is that what I got? No. I just got a standard Ouya with 1 pad, which I also had to pay customs on top of. So that pretty much was a waste of about $146. Now, I understand that, you know, they had really high demand. Everyone went crazy over the Ouya, and it took them a lot to get most of them out before it actually just hit the shop's general launch. And I know some people are still actually waiting for theirs to arrive. Now, I wouldn't have minded much waiting because, you know, I thought I was getting something special. I thought I was getting a limited edition one, 2 controllers, some etching. So yeah, it might take a while to get to me because maybe a lot of people have asked for these. But to then get a normal one turn up, that's a bit of a kick in the teeth because I could have just not bothered at all backing it and just wait for it to come out and gone down the shops and bought one, or bought one online when it came out, and not bother pledging at all. And that was why I picked that tier level, because I wanted those things. So yeah, a bit pissed off the fact that I wasted over $140 on it. I've contacted Ouya about it and got an automated reply that said they would get back to me within 2 to 3 business days. And that was last Saturday, and I've not had a reply. So yeah, there's my main gripes about it, but first of all, but that's not really looking at the system, so that's my main bitching out of the way. Alright, now onto the system. Right, the controller is a fairly standard design that we've come to expect. Most controllers these days, 2 analog sticks, D-pad even, 4 buttons, 4 shoulder buttons. It's got a power start button in the middle for turning on the controller when the console's booted up. The blank surface in the middle of the controller is actually a touch surface, which will bring up a mouse pointer, and if you tap or double tap that surface that will select stuff, which is kind of handy on some apps, or even like when you're browsing, because there is a web browser in there as well, browsing some things. And the controller is also powered by 2 AA batteries, which they are nice enough to supply. There is no cable, so there you can't actually connect it, say like the PS3 pad or the wired 360 pad. So like a Wii, if you're going to use this thing a lot, you're going to go for a load of batteries. So yay. After setting up your Ouya and making an account, or logging into an account if you're already a backer, it'll pretty much ask you for card details right then. That's right. Even before you get to do anything or find out, you know, what games are available or whatever, the system wants your payment details, which is a little worrying. I mean, we've had companies like Sony and Ubisoft, etc., that have been hacked, and I'm guessing they got some pretty high security. But we're supposed to trust Ouya and their team that our details will be fine, even though they're welcome hackers to mess around with their system. That's a little worrying and almost like inviting trouble. But who knows? Maybe it'll be okay. But it's just a little concern. So after putting in your details, you'll get into the main homepage of the Ouya even, and that already doesn't look as nice as the one that they showed on the Kickstarter page. I would have actually preferred that one. That looks a nicer, clearer. Clicking on the Discover page will take you to a page full of games that other people are playing, as well as features and only on Ouya titles. This to me looks like a very busy page. There is a lot just information. I mean, I don't really care what other people are playing. They aren't me. They don't know what I like. So, it's just there, really. It's just don't care about that. But somewhere near the bottom, you'll actually get to something useful, which will have a list of the genres for all the different games that you can play. So you can look through those. If you find something that you like the sound of or looks good, you can actually click on more information. And I actually found some quite good games on there that aren't listed on anyone's to play list. And yeah, I'll just go through there instead of just looking at what other people are playing. Explore, find games, find that hidden gem. Also, the Ouya is pretty much a emulator machine, if anyone's actually looked at anything. If you click on retro, it'll bring you up a list of emulators you can download, and that's like the Commodore 64, the NES, the SNES, N64, PlayStation 1, and a load of other games. So once you've picked what you want, click on it, it will queue your download up. I'm not sure how many downloads you can queue up at one time, and that will download and install. Once you've made that section, you can then go on to your play bit on your main menu, and that will list all the games you've got that you can play, and obviously your emulators as well. As you can see, I've got N64 and SNES on there, and just click and load it up. Now, getting the ROMs on there is a bit tricky, but we'll just go on to that. If you go to the Make section of the Ouya main page, it will take you to a kind of dev screen. Well, I say a dev screen. It says software and build. The build bit is for if you are a dev, but you'll need to log in. The make, that's the make bit I'm on about. The software bit is where you have your browser and any other software that you might have installed. As you can see, I've got Dropbox on here, and now Dropbox is a very handy app for getting other apps or even your ROMs and that onto your Ouya. Now there are guides online to do that. As I say, getting the ROMs are hard because the Ouya does have a USB slot, and some people seem to say it works, other people don't. Just sticking your ROMs on the card and putting it in the back of it. It doesn't seem to read the card, or others, well, mine is a kind of mixture. It seems to know that the card's there, but it can't see anything on it. So I have to go through the Dropbox way of getting anything I want app-wise and that onto the Ouya, which, now that I've got it on there, it doesn't really seem to be a problem, but it just means I'm going to be relying on Dropbox a lot more than the USB. One issue though of downloading bits and pieces on the Ouya that way is it's going to take up a lot of space, and the Ouya doesn't really have a file management system, so you can't really just scroll through it, and if you've downloaded or stuck on there, say like a bunch of ROMs, and you're running out of space and you want to delete them, you can't really do that. But I've just now, actually while doing this, saying that I wanted to get say there is no file system, I searched online and found one, which was the ES File Explorer. I also installed the Evo Creo, I can't even make sure I say the right name, which is the Pokemon type Android game. Trying to find the right words there. Which I've put some screenshots on our webpage just to see if that would work, but that doesn't actually work because it's a kind of touchscreen controls where you've got the little, see the picture there, the little D-pad on screen. You need to touch that to walk your character around, but as I've got a controller. It doesn't actually recognise the analogs or D-pad. Anyway, the file manager will make things a lot easier on your Ouya, so you can delete unwanted files you might have downloaded. Well, just like that really, to free up space. It's not actually that easy without one. So overall, my thoughts on the Ouya are kind of mixed. I know that it's never going to rival any main consoles that we've got at the moment, but considering how much the Ouya got backing wise, I was hoping for something a little more ready, just a tad more finished. I shouldn't need to install apps to make my system usable really as a normal console. I mean, that's what it was marketed as, an Android console, but just like a simple file manager to get rid of unwanted things isn't on there. Some of the games out there as well aren't finished. I mean, they're like trial versions of them. And not saying that the trials are bad, but it's just like the first chapter or the first episode in something. Which just leaves me wondering how long until we get another chapter, or until the whole lot. But also the price, because these trial ones, yeah, they're free, but how much is an episode going to cost? How much is the whole game going to cost? And at the moment, considering all the emulators and that, people are just really going to get one of those and just probably fill their console up with ROMs. And I don't really blame them in one respect, because if you haven't really got any other games apart from a few like trials and odd bits and pieces here, then you're just going to mainly rely on ROMs. But are you really going to buy a console like £100, $100, whatever it is, just to play ROMs? I mean, most people could just stick them on a PC anyway. But at the moment, it is still early days for the Ouya, and I know they are still trying to fix bugs and problems that are popping up. I think it does have potential. It is a nice little indie platform. It's also nice and cheap for those that don't really have a PS3 or Xbox, or can't really afford one, or don't have one but really can't afford the next gens that are coming out. Then it's a nice little alternative. Also, it is tiny, it uses Wi-Fi, and if you don't already have one, it's a nice little addition for a TV for things like Netflix on it. My advice really, if you're interested in one as a gamer, is probably to wait a while until they iron out, I say all the problems, most of the problems they can, until there are more really games and apps available on it. I mean, there are lists that you can find online that does show apps that are supportive of the Ouya, that work on it, so like GTA 3 and Vice City, but you could probably pick up a PlayStation and play those if you really wanted to get that. But if you haven't had one of those before, I mean, something like that if you're interested in. But yeah, I'd probably wait a while if you're a gamer for more things to come out. But if you, however, you're interested in it to make games, possibly an indie title, then the Ouya possibly might be something to look for, or look into even, as well as the mobile market in general, because, to say, it's slightly better than a mobile. We actually get a controller, it's on screen, it's nice. I mean, one of the games that I've got in it, again, is Final Fantasy 3. Now that came out on the DS a couple of years ago. And I do have the DS version, and I've only got so much through it, and then I stopped for some reason and hadn't gone back to it. But I prefer playing games on a nice big screen, and now I've got that one, I'm actually playing for it on the Ouya. So, as I say, for people that are making games, possibly something to look into. But yeah, it's not bad, has potential, possibly nice little indie thing. Not really going to make waves or threaten any other main big console. Just a nice cheap alternative for something, if, as I say, if you can't afford one of the PlayStations or Xboxes or even a Nintendo or Wii, possibly something to look at. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Ouya. It's okay, nothing to write home about, but there you are. I hope you enjoyed my look into the Ouya, and take care, people. Bye for now.